covering all your favorite parts of the 50-yard fight. This is the Inside the Walls podcast with Zach Kyleman and Jim Mernier.
Quarterback himself, Mason Espinosa, joining us. Mason, welcome back. By the way, congrats for re-signing with Columbus. Glad to have you back in for the year. You've been getting a lot of press lately, good sir.
I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate you having me on. What a setup, man. You guys looking sharp here. You got to roll a little bit.
We're trying.
Not really. I kind of broke my headset today, so yeah.
This looks like you're listening really hard in one ear. That's the key, right? You're like that ear. That's your good ear. There you go.
He's making sure no one sneaks up on him. That's why it's kind of cupped out like that.
Yeah,
he wants to keep it up. So I mean,
let me lock the door.
So Mason, how the last few months been for you, man? I know a lot of us in the community were kind of just wait. It was we viewed yourself and Darius Prince as like two big like chess pieces that we were waiting to see where you guys would go, especially after the Iron Man announcement. It was going to be curious as to who would come back or who would not. And Darius did first, and then now you're the second guy, and things are looking pretty loaded. How's the last few months been for you? What's your mindset been like?
No, they've been awesome. So kind of funny, right after the championship game in Albany, I actually didn't even fly back to Georgia with the team. I got my own flight in the morning because I'm an offensive coordinator at a high school in Ohio. So I had to fly back early because we had a game that next Friday night.
Okay.
So I did that. I showed up in Worcester. It was like the Monday before our first game on Friday. We played, obviously, we went to the third round of the playoffs, region semifinalists. So we went deep into November, man. And so that kind of block of time was took up by coaching. Shout out Worcester High School. Love you guys. Miss you guys. And then from then on, I got back down to Georgia and was just training and just trying to, figure out what my next move was. And when all things considered, man, what a blessed opportunity to be back in Columbus with the Lions.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know Jim and I were ecstatic just to get that message from you and putting that out there. Because we've been like
I was sending out feeders all week because I heard heard chirp like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, let me see if Mason bites on it. Then his brother kind of bit on it. And I'm like, there's something going on here. It's like, come on, Mason, jump on it. And you just like, I was still working on it. I'm like, BS, there's something going on.
I wasn't being shady. I promise. There's a lot of levels, obviously, to all this stuff. And, you guys have done so much for us in the league, and then me personally, with all your promotion, man, you guys deserve to have, some of the hot takes around, I guess, in the arena football world. So I appreciate you guys and all you do. Well,
thank you very much. I tell you what, well, now you're back in officially. You've been seeing all the moves for teams here. Some shifting, a lot of pieces that were stars have shifted around. Nature of the beast, of course, but now Iron Man is in play. Things are a little different. Now, for yourself, you'll most likely completely be a specialist, so you don't have to really worry about that.
At least I hope, right? At least I hope.
But I mean,
no, we need Mason to be a jack.
I want to play one rep at nose this year. Coach Gibson, one rep. Give me one. That's all I need.
If he's listening, he better be representing that. Put that in the contract. One play. Just got a little.
Mason's been jack out of the box. He doesn't even scramble. Why would he be a jack out of the box?
I just get my arms. I got long arms. Man.
I'm just imagining him right now, like, dude's a statue. Why would he? No, I'm kidding. Nah, you got mobility. You got a little mobility. I'm not going to be that guy. Have you had any talks with teammates so far on the Iron Man element since you've been re-signed, or at least during the off season? Because you got to start adjusting, or those have to at least. You're gonna have people that are playing both sides while you're playing.
Absolutely. I mean, throughout this entire process, even when I was still coaching in Ohio, I felt like I talked to, another veteran in the league, every week at some point. You guys know the arena football brotherhood's pretty tight.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of the same faces, and whether you've played against them or played with them before. So, being able to talk with them a lot, and I think dudes are excited. I think that, kind of that initial shock of the when it came out, I think was a little bit odd for people, maybe because they didn't explain it in a great way. So we didn't really know what that meant. Yeah. Is everybody playing? What does that look like? But as they went through and they explained it more, and then obviously the quote unquote recruiting process with coaches have helped because they're able to explain. Obviously they know the rules. They have to know the rules in and out. And, a vast majority of these coaches have Ironman experience in some capacity. So they're able to explain the rules a little bit more. I think it made people more comfortable, knowing their specialists, knowing, at the end of the day, guys aren't going to be playing the full 60 minutes. You're going to have a sub. You're going to be playing about the same amount. It's just, instead of all offense, you're playing offense, defense, offense, or whatever it is. And then, for somebody like myself, just learning more about rules for where it involves with me, obviously with receivers, obviously selfishly for me, protection, knowing what, you don't want your offensive lineman out there tired. Obviously, those dudes are working hard for you. You want to make their life as easy as possible. So I think just becoming knowledgeable, and I think you saw that every week, more and more names from the league in the past had signed because we were getting more knowledgeable about what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know who the next specialist is going to be besides you?
I may have an idea, but we'll see. We'll see April 23rd, I guess.
Can't drop all the things out there for everybody. Got to be a little more strategic now. I get you.
I was trying to get free information, man.
Yeah, I respect it, man. I respect you. You're always at the end of the day repping your Jacksonville Sharks. I appreciate about you.
Yeah, I kind of bashed them last week. It's like, oh no, we were doing our rankings last week of where our teams are right now, and Zach said, yes, Columbus coming to Jacksonville in the playoffs this year. I was like, oh, yeah, Mason's coming to the Shark Tank again. And I was like, yeah, but we were nowhere near the playoffs last year. So.
I heard it, man.
I was going to say, I was like you with the Ironman rules. I previously listened to one of our old episodes, and I just creamed the league. Like, me and Zach were like, hey, that's it. We're going to the IFL. That's it. We're done with this. This is not going to last. And as it progressed, and then once I find all the new rules, I'm looking at like, oh, it's a lot of subs. There's more subs in this version than it was in the last game. So
it is.
And like I've sat back and I've actually talked to other players and like, yeah, that's the reason I'm playing is because I know I'm going to get a guaranteed amount of playing time and I have a guaranteed amount of off the field action. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think a big thing too that as we go along this, we kind of understand. I think you even alluded to it on your last episode was that it's still a 21-man roster. I think back in the day in the AFL when they did Ironman, they were 16, 17, 18, 19. They did not have a lot. There's still a lot of players. So, on a roster. So, it's not, we're not working people to death. It's just a different style of playing. Maybe it even speeds up the game. At the end of the day, unless it's a mass, it's either going to be like a hockey line sub where everyone comes in, everyone comes off, or two specialists come on, two specialists come off. It's one of the two. So maybe that speeds up the game a little bit too, which is probably a fortunate byproduct.
I'm glad you brought that up. That is the best way I've been able to either talk to people and describing it as of late is it does come off as hockey. If you are going to have a substitution period, or at least coaches have to then schedule out when they feel they need to get players off and who are dead for a certain period of time. That's like a whole new ball game that you'll have to understand. I think, you talked about the leagues trying to get it out across the fans. I think they're going to have to, and I hope they do this, that they do a better, I would say, synopsis of the rules once more before we get back into this, because it's been a few months since the initial announcement, and you're going to probably have to see some teams explaining how this works, or if you can get some production, a tutorial video would be great.
That's what I was just thinking that. I remember the old AFL used to have I have the old PlayStation 2 Arena video game.
Yeah.
And even there they have a tutorial Arena Football 101, what's Iron Man. It's okay, maybe that's cool. Maybe even blast that, to start your broadcast or something before a game or something. You never know who's watching. So who knows, man? But yeah, you're 100% right. I think another, comb over the rules would be good for everyone.
And also we already have coaches in the league that have experience because Jeff Higgins for the Orlando Predators played Ironman football.
Yeah.
So he knows the rules. He said the rules are a little tweaked because this is the new era of Ironman, but it's same concept.
Yeah, I think a lot of them did. Like you said, Coach there. I think Coach Burley. I think talking to him, I think he might have played in it. I know Coach Gibson has both played and coached in it. So that's just off the top of my head. That's half the league's coaches right there. I don't know the backgrounds of the other coaches quite as well, but I'm sure at some point, if you've been involved in arena football before 2007 or whatever it is, you've dabbled in Ironman in some capacity.
A little bit. Steering away from Ironman, I kind of want to bring up yourself here, or something that may be personal experience. You ever been to San Antonio? You got a new destination to go to this year.
No,
subbing out New Jersey.
I know. Yeah, no. I no offense to our brethren up in the Trenton area, but I'm much more excited to go to San Antonio than Trenton, New Jersey. But no, I've never been to San Antonio. Been to Texas, once or twice or whatever. We play, I think, way back the first year of the NAL. Corpus Christi had a team. We were, we went there and
Rampage.
Yeah, yeah.
God, they're
man, it was. There's been a lot of iterations in the National Arena League. This is the best one by far. So another one I'm really excited about. Crazy enough, I've never played at Orlando. Never been to Orlando's arena. I know there's very few places I've never played at, but I'd never.
That's right. You played last year. You were both home against them.
That's
true. 19, I was in Albany, in the other league, and then they weren't in the league in 18. So I've never been to the Amway Center to play. So I'm excited for that.
That's right. I didn't think about that. You're going to go to the other jungle.
Yeah.
I find that hilarious. Now there's people. You got both communities that are like, don't you mean like Columbus fans will post the jungle like, don't you mean Orlando? And then they'll get cheeky with each other. It's like, well,
yeah,
ours is better.
You guys can correct me on this. I thought they used to have a trophy. Like we won last year, and I'm like, oh, don't we get like a trophy or a knife or something? Like I remember. Back in that first year Orlando was playing, it was something cool, and I was like, oh, that's sweet, and then it just never showed back up again. Do some research on it. Go back to 2019 Week 1, Columbus and Orlando. I guarantee they had some kind of rivalry trophy.
We're going to have to do some research on that for sure.
That could be old management too, and that management's no longer associated with the league.
I'm saying, hey, but I'm telling you, Mr. Cheney there better get on the horn. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. Like we've talked rivalries on the show in the past.
There's only one rivalry in the NL. That's Columbus.
Make some more. Then
you know what, Jim? I love that you said that. I love how we're doing the geographical stuff and the Columbus, Carolina, and Jacksonville, Orlando. At the end of the day, when Jacksonville and Columbus get on the field against each other, it's just different. It just is. I mean,
we'll play 4 times this year, Mason. We'll play each other 4 times this year.
I can't wait for every one of them. Every time you guys come to Columbus, every time we go to Jacksonville, it is my favorite week of the year. Just the intensity and, even the short, time that we've played against each other from 2017 on. There's been so many good football games, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, not last year, though. Last year.
But it was a fun atmosphere. It was a fun environment. People know, like the Jacksonville fans, they get it, man. Like,
oh yeah, we were there. I was there.
You guys turned out, man. So that it's my funnest away trip in the league is Jacksonville.
And what's cool about Jacksonville? There was 8,000 fans there, and we were losing by 30. I'm like, they really believe here. I'm like, there's Mason just sitting in the pocket and no one's touching him. Oh, there's Antoine. This game is over. No one's leaving because our announcer, Jackson, who's good at his job, is like, get loud, Jax, for Sark's fan. I look at scoreboard. I'm like, what? It's like there's 5 minutes left. We're losing by 30 some points. And I'm like, okay, Thundersticks, whatever. Like, give me a beer. Like, this game is done.
It's so much fun, though. You guys do it right. It's a party. Every time we play in Jacksonville, first trip of the year, my entire family comes down. They don't miss that game. Last year, my girlfriend, my mom came together. My dad, my little brother came together, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, hey, and you're gonna this year. I mean, pending. I know last year injuries kind of derailed a little bit with Faithful going out there at the week 1 against the Predators, but pending. I mean, Jacksonville reloaded. Carolina definitely said this year we're not waiting around. We're going to load up early to get talent. We've said this year the league with Ironman is probably at least primed to be the most competitive that we have seen. At least off the top of our heads for the first 4, now 5 seasons coming in. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of people now that I think you can make an argument go to get to the crown or the championship this year. Last year, it really felt like it was you guys in Albany. This year, we're all looking at the initial rosters and going, what? I'm just saying.
It was just them. They dominated everyone.
I mean, look, I think that some things change, but now it definitely feels like it's kind of a toss-up to me more. There's a lot more variables this year at play.
Yeah. I mean, and you're 100% right. This year, I mean, Jacksonville last year, Jim jokes around the whole thing, but still, like, they lost their quarterback, like, week 1, like, game 1 of the year. Was it week 2? Yeah, I mean.
No, we lost Faithful week 1, then Roadbrick, I think his name was.
Yeah.
He went down week 2. They had to sign Connor Kagi, and he came in and completely imploded because he's a rookie right out of freaking college.
Man.
And then legend himself, Danny Southwood, gave us a little bit of hope. And he beats Albany. You're like, what the heck just happened here?
Yeah.
And then the season just
Jonathan Bain to end it,
what's another one?
You're right. Like, and I don't know Mike. I've heard a lot about him. Obviously, I wish I would have got to play against him last year. I mean, the dude's the real deal. You obviously they built that team around him. Obviously, you built your team around your quarterback. When you lose someone, when you lose the guy you built around, it's going to be a tough season. It just is. There's not a lot of arena quarterbacks out there that are trained in arena. This year, like that's what I'm so proud of this league in general is the talent that we have top to bottom, and like especially at the quarterback position, man. Like even you look at last year, but even look at this year, like. Dude, I mean, Mike, like we talked about up in Albany, is the real deal. Jonathan Bain, dude, I've been playing against that guy for forever. He's the real deal. Warren's obviously the real deal. I mean, I'm not leaving anyone out, but like, dude, top to bottom, you're not going to see any slouches. Like, you're going to go in, you're going to see good quarterbacks every week with everyone else to figure out how to play two-way. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And quality backups. Jacksonville has Malik Henry. Jonathan Bain has Castanova's in Albany.
Yeah.
And
I mean, guys that started games in arena before as your backup. That's tough to do.
Yeah, he played in Carolina last year, which was kind of difficult because he got the the terrible turnover bug, and that just wouldn't leave him. And in a short season, that could kill your season. But yeah, if you look at it overall, the quarterbacks in the league, I'm like, for me last week, if you listen to my past show, I was like, all right, well, Warren Smith is Jacksonville, it's done. Then Mason hits. I'm like, God, man, like what the heck?
It should be a lot of fun, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, you got Bain, you got Faithful. It's just
and Hilliard and Cato both down in Orlando. I don't know how that's going to sort out, but like obviously, if you like arena, you watch. If there's an indoor game on, whether it's your rules or not, you watch. Hilliard's had a great career out in the IFL. Cato is. I remember watching him when he was in college, slinging around for Marshall. So they got two legit guys. Yeah. I'm not as familiar with San Antonio's roster yet. I'm going to have to comb that over a little bit more. But I mean, they've had some success. They're going to have guys, especially in the Texas area. That's all they do is throw the ball around out there just constantly. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Well, Cato, I've known him from the most famous comeback in I think it's the Popeyes Bowl down in the Bahamas, where he had like a 24-point comeback against, I think, like Eastern Michigan or something. And it was just a random Thursday night or Thursday afternoon, first bowl game of the season. I'm like, I'm going to just watch this. And like, who's this kid Cato? I've never even seen this guy. And came back and won bowl game. I'm like, oh. Well, then I see him on the transaction bar. I'm like, is that Cato from Marshall Cato? And I go like, oh, yeah, I already know this guy. It's like, I only watched one game.
Yeah, there we go. That's it, man.
I only watched one game, and I know him already. I'm like, yeah, I think he's going to be good.
That's awesome.
All right, I'm going to bring this up here because Jim put a lot of nice effort into this. Let's see. Do you think? I assume with the new schedule, possibly, can you match your stats from last year? This is what we got from last year's here.
Oh, look at the graphic. Oh, man, you guys are getting fancy.
Say, Jim puts a lot of effort into these things. I'm telling you right now. By the way, if you're listening to this again on podcast, this is on YouTube. You should check that out. But yeah, look at this.
Stats, Zach. Career stats, not.
Still.
Yeah. Wow, fancy. Here's what I'll tell you, fellas. I love stats. Of course, stats, do what they do. But my favorite stat is the win column, right?
There
so
you go.
As long as our win column surpasses what we had last year and we win the one that counts at the end, then I'll be happy.
Well, I just want to say about your career stats, Mason, you are exactly 7 touchdowns away from being the all-time NAL passing touchdown quarterback, whatever.
Okay.
And literally you're going to break the all-time passing record with maybe 3 completions. If that gives you 46 yards.
Okay.
So you'll have a tweet when you come back in your first game of the season, like Mason's Canadian's all-time leading passer in NAL, and it's because you just completed 3 passes for like 56 yards, something like that. It's you're literally right there. And the interceptions, you're not in the top 40, so you're pretty good there. Because
that feels good. That's a good ratio, So who knows?
That's good. You have more touchdowns, you throw interceptions. That means you have a job.
A little extra swerve in this season. A little extra nugget we could put in with this, of course. Nice little touches.
And I couldn't get the win totals because the one thing about the NAL website, and hopefully they fix this, is they don't tell who started the game. It just says who the quarterback and who your backup was at the time. I think it was Fitzgerald last year? No, not Fitzgerald. It just shows your
our boy Chase.
Yeah.
Shout out Chase. He's listening. He's the man.
It just shows your name. It doesn't tell you. It says games played, but it doesn't tell you started. And so I couldn't say, did Mason win this game or look, because I was going to put your record there. But you go down to 2017, the start of the NAL stats were just god awful. Like,
Yeah.
it was terrible to find your win total. So I was like, this is going to be kind of difficult.
And
So
then I got hurt at the end of 18. So yeah, I can see how that'd be a little confusing there.
Could feel you there. Yeah. So I want to bring this up as we're talking the Lions a little bit. How's how was getting a film crew following you around last year with Inside the Lines? We've been the new one's actually dropping a little bit here as we're recording. So that I mean, the first episode blew us away. Aiden did and his crew did a great job putting that together.
Thor. Sorry, that was the best part of the whole show.
It was, and like, you know, I'll take a second to brag on Aiden here. Like, what a guy! He really, like, he went from, you know, very, very quickly. He went from camera guy, who's this guy following us around, to like one of the guys. Like, he was part of the team at the end of the year. Like, we cared about that dude, and I think that's a testament to him, the professionalism he had, and you know, the trust. You know, I love Coach Gibson. Coach Gibson loves having his hands, loves having his control. The fact that he can turn that over to Aiden and trust, you know, kind of what he's put together in his vision, I think it's a testament to him. And I mean, he's done an unbelievable job. I've seen, obviously, the first episode. I've seen just a couple rough clips of action from his camera, because he was on the field during the game. Like, he was in the huddle sometimes. He was right behind. And I think as the year went on, he got more comfortable with arena football, of like where to stand where he wouldn't get hurt. And so I think as we go on this season, you're going to be able to see, like, he's going to be in the action. It's some really cool shots. You're going to hear some conversations that you know, probably make Coach Gibson cringe a little bit, giving away what we're talking about before the play and stuff. But what an unbelievable job by that guy, and what an unbelievable team. I mean, that 2020, you know, one team, they were special. They really were. It was the most fun I've had playing professional football. Everybody from, you know, every guy we brought in to the, you know, the guy that was the Marvin Ross, the guys on the roster day one, and, you know, kind of leading the defense. Everyone, you know, just came together and just had this real special camaraderie, and you knew it pretty early. So those are rare to get, and you got to cherish those. And I'm really glad we got to capture that season, because that'll something I want to remember a long time.
See, I love that, because when the final year of the AFL, Ben Fraternale, shout out to him, by the way, he was an excellent job at covering the league, following with Albany and a few other teams. And I miss that aspect with the sport. I feel like that's something that needed to be back. So like, Aiden to me filled that role really well, of just kind of getting in and kind of showing the story of this sport again. Absolutely. And I think that's something that's been missing in all leagues. I haven't really seen that until this year with that documentary, and we're not even done with it. You know, see episode 2, there's like another 2 or 3 episodes I understand they're supposed to be dropping with it. So we'll get the whole story. And I love the first one. You get all the personality. I didn't know about the talent show, so that was great to learn about that.
That was funny.
That was like one of my favorite parts of that first episode was like, yeah, so we got a talent show for the newcomers. They got a, you know, they show off in the locker room.
It's so much fun. So much fun. We were a little bit worried about not being able to do it because of how quickly we had, you know, normally you have plenty of time to plan for this. But, you know, last year with the Albany and Ontario stuff, and, you know, we were, you know, there's dudes, you know, we've had in the building for 3 days that we're about to leave to go to Albany. And we were just like, Coach, we got to do it. Like the vets were like, we just got to do it. And I really think it was, you know, it's a big deal to kind of see people get out of their shell a little bit. It somewhat forces you out of your shell, and it brings you together. And it's so much fun. It's my favorite time of year. It's so much fun.
It's a blast. The characterization of people is great. Like another one, Lonnie Outlaw is just like, he's so hilarious. I did not realize the guy's a goof in practice like he is. But
oh my God.
That was like one of my favorite parts of that first show too.
There is a special scene in there where Mason is being the holder, and he's not catching on the football, and he gets up, he's like, oh, my knees are getting too old, I got to retire from this game. Hey, you take over, man. He walks over to the side, he's like, man, my knees are getting, I'm like,
shout out Chase, man.
I was just like, when I saw that, I'm like, that scene just made me laugh. I'm like, okay, here, old timer here. Like, I'm going to retire because I can't hold a snap from a freaking game.
No, yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I appreciate you, Chase. Miss you, man. Appreciate you filling in there when I forgot how to catch a little bit. But you're right. We had such great personalities on the team. Lonnie's one of my favorite guys, man. I hope whatever. I know he's with Orlando this year. Whatever in football and outside of football, comes his way. That dude's more than deserving. He's an unbelievable guy, and it's no secret that he was 6'8", and he was somewhat the focal point of our offense as we got comfortable, with each other. His size became such the focal point of what we were doing, and the most unselfish team guy in the world. I mean, we would get inside the 10-yard line or the 5-yard line where his 6'8" would be a problem for teams, and you start getting true double teams and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think that reflected, kind of later in the year. I think his stats dropped just a little bit because teams were double teaming him. It wasn't him. The teams were double teaming him, and he was like, no, dude, like it's like, man, this guy's open. This guy's open. Get it to him. It's very rarely you see top level receivers with that mentality, and Lonnie was every bit of that. So I'm really blessed to be able to know him and call him a friend and have played with him.
It's all about the wins. Anything you can think of because the start of episode 2 is going to be when you guys go to Albany. Is there anything you think will show up on the camera that you'll be like, okay, I didn't remember that, but now it's coming back to me.
Pretty much the entire first episode. That's kind of what it is. You forget he's there. He's so, Aiden does such a great job. You forget he's there, and he's also there a lot of the times without his camera. I mean, he's there all the time. So sometimes he'll just be there and you're in a moment and you're hanging out or you're doing whatever, and he just like sneaks his camera up and you don't even notice he does it. So I have no clue what he got, but there's going to be some moments that is going to be funny. Top of my head, I don't know when it's coming up, but when Felipe, our international player, had to be our kicker, kind of impromptu, that's going to be a hilarious moment. Some of the bus rides are going to be hilarious moments.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We went up to, I can't even remember what it was. It might have been Albany. I can't remember where it was. And actually, it might have been that first trip to Albany, or maybe it was Trenton. Our guys, we were on 2 separate flights, and you'll see it. Our linemen, pretty much, who were on the late flight, got all their stuff locked in the trunk of a car at the airport. Like the car got stuck, so they're like breaking in their own car to get their stuff to make this flight. And Aiden was with them the whole time, so it's gonna be an absolute comedy fest. I cannot wait.
We already have talked with Aiden. We're going to have him on the show. So this is a great primer to get some of these pieces.
Yeah, you'll get some good stuff from him. He's a great dude. He's a really sharp dude. He's fun to talk to.
Well,
that talent show is what sold it all. You got guy walks in dressing like Thor, speaking a freaking line from the Avengers, and they show Mason Espinosa, and he's dressed in a costume of just full ice, just over there, like ice on the shoulder, ice on the knee, and ice everywhere.
These are getting old. I said it earlier in the episode. These are getting old, man.
But like the episode was good. I was like, man, this is pretty good. And I forgot who Thor was. He comes in and starts going like. He's like,
you happen to land on the carpet enough. Yeah, I mean, you probably do need a bit more ice.
I'm here to prevent Ragnarok. I'm like, this guy's doing the scene from Ragnarok. He's Thor. I'm just laughing my ass off.
So Dobbs, the backstory, or not really the backstory, but so Dobbs played at Vanderbilt, and he had a couple touchdowns for us this year. He was like kind of our glue guy. He did everything. He was the backup jack. He even played some backup fullback. He did a little bit of everything. He went to Vanderbilt, and he was like Dobbs, you got to forgive me. He was like a music actor, video type guy. That's what he does. And I think, he has something, I talked to him a little bit, and even he couldn't tell me, but he has something big coming up in the works of like acting, music, something going on. He was very heavily involved in the Kurt Warner movie. Like he was like,
oh yeah,
the linebacker. If you ever see a guy with like the long curly hair, that was him. And he was like very, very heavily involved in that. And so that's kind of what he does. And as you could tell, he's really good at it. So I'm excited, even if his future's away from, professional football, I'm excited to see where that guy, kind of goes, because he's a great dude, and he's really good at kind of that acting, music type realm.
Wow. Well, Mason, we want to say thanks for joining us here early for this episode. It's been a blast. I wanted to give you a last chance here. I mean, like I said, people have been excited that you're back. I know you already locally have put in kind of like kind of like your own like pump primer, like let's go, let's get at it. 2022 season is going to be here sooner than you think. What's your message here for fans before we conclude our conversation with you?
I mean, there, a couple things. I guess to the teammates, my guys that have already signed, I can't wait to get to work with them. I think Coach has done an unbelievable job of bringing in a great mix of, veteran presence, rookie talent. Like I'm really, really excited about how our roster shaped up this year. To the fans, man, let's strap it up and let's go. I mean, this is the odd year where as a player we're kind of learning with you. I mean, we don't, we know the rules at a base level, but we're really trusting coaches and what they're going to bring to us. And I got a feeling that the first couple weeks is going to be everyone, with their own interpretation of the rules, different specialists, different all this stuff. And then probably by week, 4 or 5, everyone's probably going to be doing the same thing because somebody's going to have the right formula, and it's going to be who has the right formula, who figured it out first. They're probably going to have a jump in the standings, and then everyone's going to kind of figure it out from there. So I think it's going to be a really fun first couple weeks and a really fun season. A lot of parity, so much talent dispersed so evenly. I'm really excited for it.
Nice.
And also, no COVID restrictions in Columbus this year. So
Massive.
So there'd be more than 2,000 fans in the arena, which was holding you guys back last year was those restrictions. So now there's none.
So excited about that.
Be more fans in the stands.
Absolutely.
And that's our job here to promote it, get more fans in the stands because you know what? We're trying to push for it. So I was going to ask you a question, just completely like it flew over me. Like it's
save it for next time, maybe.
Probably. Knowing me, I'll think of it like literally 5 minutes after the episode ends and be like, oh, well, yeah, that's what
we'll text me, read it out loud. There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll DM you mid-show here. So,
that's it.
Mason, we're looking forward to seeing you in play again. It's coming right sooner than you think. And, hopefully get you another MVP season underway.
I'm excited. I'm really excited, man. I'm excited for the team we got. And, again, guys, thank you for all you're doing. I mean, you're doing an unbelievable job pushing the game forward. Players love this, man. We love the professionalism. We love that, kind of that media push, because it's important to us at the end of the day. I mean, we wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't important to us. So we appreciate all you guys do, man. And, I'm excited to see what you got in store. I'm not, give away secrets, but I'm really, really excited to see what you guys have on the horizon. Really excited.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. And we're looking forward to a season that's fully loaded again. Yeah. That's what's going to be great for all these teams, fully loaded. The jungle in Georgia, at least, will be packed up, much like the one in Amway was looking to appear back last year.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. Mason, take care. We'll catch you another time because I know we'll have you back on this show at this point anymore. And we love this conversation. Have a great one, man.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
See you later.
Yeah, man.
Covering all your favorite parts of the 50-yard fight. This is the Inside the Walls podcast with Zach Kyleman and Jim Bernier.